Perhaps the upset of the season already here through 3 weeks, as the Dallas Cowboys, who many people felt like could be a championship contender, playing against the Arizona Cardinals, who many people feel like are a #1 pick contender, and somehow Arizona wins. So what I want to talk about in today's video is actually the Cowboys defense and how it was pretty beatable in this game, and maybe some concerns going forward for a defense that many people felt like could be dominant. In many ways has been dominant through 2 weeks. Really kind of struggled against a team that many people aren't respecting. 2 weeks into the season, now 3 weeks into the season. Let's talk about how Arizona was able to move the ball so well. Let's start off with this play. What's going to happen here is it's going to be a quarterback keeper. So you fake as though you're handing the ball off. And again, teams do this differently. Some just do it where they already have a decision ahead of time. The quarterback keeps the ball. That's the way the play works. Or you can do this with a read, where if you are doing it in that way, you're reading what the edge rusher does. The edge rusher here, Micah Parsons. Might have heard of him. Definitely someone who we saw for several reasons in this game. This was not necessarily just a good defensive performance from Parsons. At times it was, at times it wasn't. This is going to be one of the times when it wasn't, where the way it works, if you're the quarterback and you're reading here, is you see where Parsons goes. If he moves over the middle, then you keep the ball yourself, run towards the bottom of the screen. If he is playing a quarterback potential run, then you just hand the ball off. You've taken away a defender, or at least gotten a defender a little bit out of position. As you see, right when this play begins, Parsons is making this about as easy of a read as you can possibly make it. Dobbs looks over, and if this is a read, is saying, yeah, I'm going to be keeping the football. Parsons just was 100% convinced this was a handoff. I mean, watch him it's almost like a bullfighter, pulling the little curtain out and the bull going forward. What do you call that? A cape? I don't know what you call what the bullfighter has, but you know what I mean. Gets forward, and at this point, it's already a good play. I mean, it was well blocked by Arizona, something that would become a trend in this football game. You see that a couple Dallas players can still try and make a play, but as you see, Dobbs is going to actually run by both of them. It goes until a defensive back down the field is able to come over and make a play. So that's tough, and again, it is one of those things where it kind of all started with Parsons' error. To not only was Parsons not able to make the play, but wasn't even able to slow Dobbs down, and then the rest of Arizona was able to do their job. I mean, something like this is exactly what Arizona was able to do a lot in this game, far too often if you are a Dallas Cowboys fan, where the way this works is you see the run blocking concept on the screen. You see how it's supposed to work, where those guys are supposed to block towards the offense's left. Okay, simple enough. Watch as one Dobbs kind of fakes though he's going to hand it off towards the offense's right, hands it off towards the offense's left. Look at this gap to run through. There is a Dallas player who currently isn't blocked in that gap, but you have a blocker for that guy. So, this is just a huge window. A Dallas player does end up winning their block, but aren't able to bring down the running back, James Conner. Conner is able to pick up an explosive run play. And being able to pick up these explosive run plays, this is something we've seen pop up by the Dallas Cowboys, as some of these errors have happened. You don't want to just give those explosive plays in the running game. It's really hard to win football games if you're giving up explosives through the running game, and this is what we were able to see. Going over here, I do want to talk about Parsons again, just because, again, someone who gets a lot of attention. A lot of people are talking about, is he the defensive player of the year? We saw, I think, flashes of greatness and some other stuff in this one from Parsons. Like, what's going to happen on this play is I'm highlighting the block, and this is a bit of a tough play from Parsons, but you have a tight end who's going to be blocking Parsons and kind of surprising him a little bit. And really, this is something that, it's a tight end against an edge rusher, but this is still a block that you could expect the tight end to win. A lot of times it can fool the edge rusher. But I mean, watch how Parsons just gets blocked way out of the way. I mean, he's just not even, into play. And when you can do that, when you have this all-world edge rusher that you can just use a tight end to take out of the game, well then, yeah, that's going to completely change how these things work. Because watch how, again, Conner is able to really easily get into the end zone there from that point on. Arizona, it's just winning your blocks and maybe getting one or two key blocks through that, and they were able to do it. While we're on the subject, of course, listen, it goes without saying, Micah Parsons is an amazing player. I'm not trying to say he isn't. And he made some amazing plays in this game. You see where he is on the field. I've circled him here. Actually lined up towards the inside here. He's not just playing a pure edge rusher role, going up against a guard, which we're kind of seeing more and more teams do. Watch as when he gets by the guard just tries to push him behind, but even that doesn't work out too well. That's just speed, gets to the quarterback immediately. There's no denying that Parsons is debatably the best pass rusher in football. The issue is basically Arizona had a game plan of how to kind of turn his strengths into a weakness sometimes, turn his overcommitments into a benefit for them. And, it's a thing we have seen other teams do, and you have to wonder if this is going to start to become a trend. And I very easily could see it start to become a trend. This one's another interesting one. Parsons isn't out there, so no Parsons bashing here. What's going to happen is you see the run blocking concept on the screen. Okay, you do have a linebacker, Leighton Vander Esch, who's unblocked towards the bottom of the screen. Second down and 2, a lot of times these things are kind of just designed to get the first down, just, move the sticks here. Watch as you're going to see Dobbs hands the football off. And right here, I've circled 3 Dallas players who were unblocked. So, again, everyone else winning their blocks. And that's just something that has to change by Dallas. They have to start winning some of these one-on-one matchups. But okay, that didn't happen. Well, you still have 3 guys who are unblocked. They should be able to make a play, right? None of them are able to get over. You have to figure out an angle to be able to make that play. Rondale Moore gets into the end zone for a touchdown on that play. I mean, it just can't happen. That's just something that Dallas has to fix. And, if you are wanting to be a Super Bowl team, you can't have this weakness. We've seen it pop up against San Francisco in back-to-back years. You can't have this kind of issue. And this is, I think, maybe a wake-up call. And also, Arizona's passing game, it was better than expected, I think. Now, part of this was Dallas kind of had to play to run pretty massively on a lot of these plays, but not on this one. This is a, obvious passing situation. Because, there was that big, on the big touchdown that midway through the fourth quarter, Arizona was able to go up 2 scores once again. Well, that one was a big play. That was, they were expecting a run. They got fooled. That kind of thing happens. This is not that situation. This is a one-on-one matchup on the outside. This is pure passing football right here. It's Marquise Brown versus Stephon Gilmore. That's the matchup, and let's see what happens here. So, right when this play begins, Dobbs takes the snap. Doesn't look over right away, but once he does, makes the throw. Pure one-on-one matchup. And Gilmore just has his back turned. I mean, it's good route running by Brown, and it's good quarterbacking by Dobbs to read this. And as you see, well done throw. I don't know if I would say that was horrible coverage, but it's beatable coverage. And Arizona was able to beat it on several key plays in this football game. So, and, I have to think about how big of a deal it is to lose Trayvon Diggs. You're losing a lockdown corner that they really could have used, not just to help the coverage unit, but also so they could put more resources down to help out their run defense, which they weren't. They still did in this game, but they, in other games, that could become an issue. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. I mean, what do I take away from this? Honestly, some. I do. I mean, this is something we've seen from Dallas, and this was a concern we had heading into the year, was the run defense and what could potentially be an issue. The secondary isn't as strong now without Diggs, and I think because of that, well, as great as Parsons is, there is only so much you can do. And the reality is, when you're, this is something I should have brought up earlier, but when you're getting, when they're running the ball at you constantly, it's also wearing you out and means that you can't pass rush as well as you typically do. There is a blueprint against this Cowboys defense, and we're going to have to see what they do to adjust that. Maybe it's just one game, but it's concerning in my opinion. But yeah, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.